Hi, I'm Lorene. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. I was just trying to encourage Taz to join us, but he's very restless this morning because Steve's been going in and out the front doors, and Taz really likes to know what's going on, and especially where Steve is. And Steve's his buddy. And we have a lot of stuff happening today. You know how sometimes you just go weeks on end where there's nothing and you just think, oh my God, world. And now I think in the last 7 to 10 days, it's just been one stream of something or other. And so it's been pretty exciting. So what's happening yesterday is we finally got a shower, the glass for a shower to install and replace shower curtains. That was pretty exciting, pretty big piece of glass. So we still have to do that work. And today, Steve's putting on roof racks onto the car because he has an art installation, and one of the big installations is coming down and is actually going to provide us with probably 50% of what we need to put a little porch on the back, or a roof on the back porch, so that we can sit out there in the rain. So he has 2 construction jobs, and then we also bought a minivan, not a minivan, a camper van, a 1985 Westphalia van wagon, camper van, whatever you want to call it, and it's going to be arriving this afternoon. And I'm really excited about it. This is something that we have been talking about on and off over the years. Be on the highway, see something go past, talk about it, and just kind of let it go. So I'll talk about that more because I'm really excited. It means I can take books at the bottom of the stairs on the road, but I don't know when. So what have I got? What have I got to talk to you about today? Give Me Some Truth was a book that I thought was going to be a really good book, and I'm disappointed. I'm going to let it go. It's from my 2018 pile of things I would like to read from the Hornbook magazine, and it's about 2 young teenagers, both on an Indian reservation, and one of them wants to be a rock musician, and one of them, does not want to be moving back to the reservation. Her sister, who's older, wants to go back and graduate with her childhood friends from high school, and Maggie is against it. She's sort of moved into a sphere of artwork and her beading and so on that's moved outside of the traditional beadwork patterns of what her tribe does. She feels that she can move forward with her own sort of interpretation of things. That's about it. I don't know. It didn't move on from there, and it does. It moves on, but that's about the tone of the book, and so I was pretty disappointed. What I have been reading, and it's from my big stack, is one of these little Macmillan Classics books, the ones with the beautiful insides and the the gold edging, and it's called Lark Rising to Candleford. It's a trilogy. It's written by Flora Thompson, and I have read the first 299 pages, and I really have enjoyed it. I've put it beside the bed. A chapter a night is about what I have been doing, and last or 2 weeks ago, I think I was talking about a number of books that I'd picked up that basically had no real plot arc to them, and this is in that style. But what's quite a bit different about this is what it's called by the person who wrote the introduction, Bill Gallagher. It's called an Agrarian Memoir. So we are in the hamlet of Lark Rise, and did I say Lark Rising? I bet I did. Yeah, sorry, Lark Rise to Candleford. And in the hamlet of Lark Rise, we have Laura and Edmund and their 2 parents and the rest of the inhabitants, and we get to see a kind of cross-section of what a small English hamlet would look like prior to the Industrial Revolution. It hasn't essentially changed forever. There's a farmer who owns the fields. I'm not sure what the word is, where all the fields are brought together and just 1 or 2 farmers are needed to take care of that because machinery is coming in. So this is where each farmer has got their own field. They've also got an allotment garden. Each woman has their family, and they really at that point have no control over how many children they're having. Their job is to keep the home clean and keep the children fed on very meager wages and on whatever can come home from the allotment, as well as when the corn is reaped, they go in and get whatever husks have fallen on the ground for themselves, and same with the wheat. So it's that period of time. And Laura, who's sort of our main protagonist, although we rarely see her, is credited with having observed an awful lot around her. And we don't actually know Laura as a character. She's described to us. We don't get into her head. There's hardly ever any dialogue. Sometimes the dialogue is embedded in the description, where a farmer will say something along the lines, we're going to kill half a pig today. I didn't catch that this was funny. I just kind of rolled over it, but the introduction points out that's hilarious, how to kill half a pig. I'm not very good at getting those kinds of subtle pieces of humor. You know, you got to hit me over a sledgehammer sometimes, or oh yeah, ha ha ha. So I didn't catch all of it. I think I've read a number of books where other people have, from that period where it's sort of late 1800s, and other people go, oh my gosh, it's hilarious. And I think, really? Really? And that literally I have seen people highlight things on Instagram to help those of us who are a little slower figure, oh yeah, that is pretty funny. But they're also sometimes reading it from a 2022 point of view where the language has changed. So let's just say blue bag. A blue bag in those days was not funny, but a blue bag today, oh yeah, just hilarious. Well, not that a blue bag is actually hilarious, but just as an example. So I'm missing a bit of the humor, but it is so prettily written. It is very calm. It's like walking in a field where you can see, you know, it's one of those magical fields in a movie where over there you see the trees, and over there you see the little river, and over there you see the hamlet, and behind you are a few foggy mountains. It's just always written in that kind of being central to the natural world around you. And also the author, Flora Thompson, brings to life the birds, the wild birds, the farm animals, the wilder animals, and also some pretty interesting conflicts between, let's pretend, the parish minister, who's a very, very old school kind of fellow who comes into the hamlet and doesn't really talk about God ever. He is talking about the farmers and their wives' place in society. Don't get your heads above your shoulders, kind of a thing. And so then there's another minister who comes in who is much more about the pastoral care and looking after the poverty in the hamlet, and at one point even giving away his own shoes. So you get, and then, you know, do the hamlet dwellers appreciate that necessarily? Is it a good thing to have their poverty sort of noticed? So there's some very interesting humanness that we observe. I've really enjoyed this. Now, Laura, I think, moves to Candleford, which is a small town, and she becomes like a helper in some kind of a store. I'm going to put this aside for the summer. This is a perfect summer bedtime book. It's little, it'll fit into the camp really nicely, and I've got about another 300 pages to go. It's going to be absolutely perfect for the camp. So that goes back on the summer pile. I think if you really can't stand to have a plotless book, this is not a book for you. I think if you really enjoy nature writing and poetics and observational writing, this is definitely the book for you. It's a very gentle read. And it's also, if you're just, you know, once I did that one blog about books that don't ruin your heart or something, like break your heart, that would be part of it, which I must do part 2 on that. All right, The Dust of 100 Dogs by A.S. King. She is a fairly prolific writer, and this is her first novel for young adults, and I loved it. It's about two girls, except they're actually the same girl. There's Emma, who's an Irish young girl. We start to see her around the age of 5 and 6, until she runs away from her family in Ireland. Very complicated story, and ends up in Tortuga and the Bahamas and becomes a pirate. Fairly well-known, pretty brutal female pirate. That's one story that's happening. And another story that's happening, The Dust of 100 Dogs, is that Emma encounters an evil protagonist who curses her and kills her, and she has been cursed with the dust of 100 dogs. And until she has lived the life of 100 dogs, she will not come back to life as a human. So the next 300 years, Emma is basically multiple dogs. So we also see several dogs' points of view through the story, and eventually it accumulates in the young girl Saffron, who's born in, the 20th century. I can never remember. Are we in the 21st or whatever? She's born in the 1900s, 1980s. And she's a fairly smart person because she remembers everything that happened to her. So she has an incredible grasp of human politics, the different wars and who was responsible for what, and the geopolitics and economics. And because as a dog, she's heard all of these things. And she's also led some fairly brutal dog lives. So she's not really a reformed pirate. When she comes back as Saffron, in the back of her mind, the thoughts of Emma are still fairly present. Well, what's she doing as Saffron? She's trying to get back to her buried treasure, and she's grieving the loss of her beloved, Sean. That's a different story. We don't encounter Sean particularly through the later years, but I don't want to give away all the surprises. This is quite a romp. I really enjoyed it. I think there was some really interesting details in terms of when there's certain wars, or the British pirates were taking over Spanish galleons and getting riches and stuff. So tons and tons of really cool historical detailing. Emma as a character is really quite diabolical by the end, and Saffron is also really quite curious because she's got this incredible wealth of history in her brain. So is she a genius or isn't she a genius? And what about her crazy mom? She's got a crazy mom. So it's quite a story. A.S. King, I think, has written a couple of books that I've read, which I didn't look up to see so that I could quote that, but a very, very solid author. I think you can pick up just about anything of hers. I don't know if they're in, most of the books I have picked up are not series. I don't think she does a ton of series writing, but I could be wrong. Anyways, I thought this was excellent. I gave it a 4 out of 5. And I think if you like pirates, no matter your age or your gender, she's the good one. So, in fact, I think I might even buy that for my daughter for Christmas. All right, what I have been reading, I'm not going to continue too much in detail because this is Rush of Wings, and it is by Laurie E. Weymouth, which is for my one book club, the Older Ladies Book Club, and it is a retelling of the one where the boys get turned into swans, and the sister has to fix the curse by making shirts out of nettles. This is, if I don't want to talk about it too much because I want to bring to you what my book club brings forward, because they're way more observant than I am. I did like it. I really did like it. I'm reading The Minted, which I'm going to be doing in 1-minute sprints, and I'll bring that to you as a separate video. I don't think I could describe this book if I wasn't doing it in 1-minute sprints. It's nuts. It's just nuts. And I'm also finishing off The Wizard of Once. It's the fourth one in the Cressida Cowell series. There's 4 in the book, and this one is Never and Forever. And this one is with Czar and Wish, and it's a partially illustrated book. It's a middle reader. I love it. I really love it. I'm about a quarter of the way through. I'm still not bored at all. I think it's just a really good series. And she's the one who also did How to Train Your Dragon, which was turned into a movie. And she's done a couple of others, so she's a very solid author as well. So I think that's it for me. I've got to the end of April, having managed to actually begin some of May. It was a very quick month. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I'm sort of ahead of myself. And yeah, I hope all your reading dreams and adventures continue to come true. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.